You guys, this is a take two of this video. And what's ironic about this being a take two is that it's literally the last 48 hours of my life I've had some of the most interesting, painful experiences in business. And it's all for a reason. Like I'm gonna break it all down. You guys are probably gonna laugh at some of the things that I've had to go through. But let's kick it all off with my director of operations resigned on Monday, or she sent me a letter. I'm resigning, 2 weeks notice, and it's kind of put us into a frenzy mode. We're working on it. We're working with it, but I need like there's a huge lesson to be learned in these experiences over the last 48 hours, and so I'm excited to tell the tale because I can't do anything but laugh at this point. So let me preface it with this. Over the course of the last few months, I have been trying to scale the company in a very unique way that will allow me to work myself into any position that I want in this business where I feel like I'm thriving or giving the most value. In reality, what I'm trying to do is work myself into more of a position where I can focus on business growth. I can focus on personal branding. I can focus on creating content that will drive leads and revenue into our business, and that's been a bit of a challenge. Uh, for those of you who don't know, I run a done for you YouTube agency called Graffiti Media, and we work with business owners and entrepreneurs, helping them grow their YouTube channels, helping them get leads with YouTube, with our organic YouTube services. And most people who have agencies do everything that they can to get themselves out of agency work because after a while it becomes a grind. And that feeling is no stranger to me. I've absolutely felt that way before. But when I think about doing anything else, I always come back to I love working with people. I love taking their problems, creating unique strategies to help them solve their problems, and then helping them fulfill on those strategies. It's taking them to new heights in their business. And over the last 6 years, we've had such remarkable results with a number of our clients that it's like I can't think about doing anything else. In fact, I told my wife a few months ago, I'm like, I'd love to get to the point where we could sell this company for like $30 million. And she's like, why? What would you do with it? And I'm like, I don't know. I probably just create content and have fun. And she's like, yeah, there's no way you'd retire and you'd just be back to doing the same old thing and probably just driving the whole family nuts because you would just be tinkering with things. And I'm like, you know what? You're smart. You're right. That's exactly what would happen. And so I got in my mind, like, I want this to be a legacy business. I want it to, and it was her idea. She's like, why don't you just do this? And I'm like, I want it to be a legacy business that I can bring my kids into. Two of my daughters are working. One is full time for me. The other one is part time for me. But I'm like, I want my kids to have an opportunity to have ownership in this business at some point. And so anyway, that kind of was the catalyst for a lot of different ideas, strategies about how we want to grow this company and what I want my role to be. So obviously, anytime you have big changes like that, it stretches people. It impacts people, especially your team. And you guys, I know I've said this before, but one of the things I really want you to understand is that one of the most difficult parts about building a company, any company, is team building. It's team building. It's very very hard, and I don't. Uh, I have a lot of respect for people who do this well. And heaven knows I have made a tremendous number of mistakes over the course of the last 6 years as I have hired and gone through probably 100 different people, landed with the 30 that we have, right? It is a grind. It's very difficult. And I can't please everyone and I can't help everyone. So anyway, fast forward to this week. This has taken a toll on my director of operations, and I get it. I understand, and this company in general is difficult. The industry is difficult. It's just a lot of high pressure, a lot of stakes, a lot of pressure from our clients, a lot of pressure from me to perform well for our clients. So it does take a toll on anybody who works in the company at any level. Anyway, so my director of operations sent me her resignation, and it's fine. She's got other amazing things going on. She's got family to take care of, And I'm very excited for her to be able to go and do that. And right now is like a perfect, there's never a perfect time for that to happen, but it's probably the best time for it to happen, eh, to make some type of a transitionary move like that, eh, of any time. And so I'm very excited for her and what she has to do, but or what she has going on. But I want to say this. So um, whenever there's a big change that happens, what I have found is that there is an imbalance that is created. So big change happens, everything is kind of on this plane, big change happens, and now there's an imbalance. And what happens in this gap is generally speaking, a lot of things that are out of the ordinary. And sometimes, and I don't know how this works or why it works, sometimes when it rains, it freaking storms, like tornadoes, every hurricanes, earthquakes, like all at the same, fire nados, all the sharknadoes, all at the same time. And so I just got to tell you, this is it's hilarious, it's comical. So in the last 48 hours, my director of operations, she puts in her resignation, and then we have somebody else in our company who's putting in their resignation. Again, which is fine. I want people to go and spread their wings and do whatever they feel called to do. I think that's awesome. But then because of all of this, I was planning on taking a family vacation. We're not doing that, so I'm sending my family alone on vacation at the end of the month. Again, circumstances are what they are. It happens. It's a delicate time in the company for me to leave, and I don't want to do that to my team. I just feel like it could pile things on that I don't feel comfortable piling on right now in like a delicate state that we're in. So get this. Then last night, it stormed. We don't normally get storms in July, not like this. I live in Dallas. It gets hot in July, gets in the hundreds. And last night it stormed. It's been stormy for the last few weeks, almost every night. It's crazy. And last night it stormed harder than I had ever seen it storm here, like rained harder than I've ever experienced. And it was driving rain against our wall out back, and rain started seeping into our walls, all along the baseboards, and soaked our carpet, soaked our baseboards, soaked our carpet. That's not an insurable claim. That's not an insurance claim that you can file. Usually that's considered flooding. And unless you have flood insurance, homeowners insurance won't cover that. So there you go. So that happened. Okay. So now get this. So that was something that was like, oh my gosh, just pile it on. So we had to take care of that. Totally disruptive. And then this morning I had a call from my neighbor at our other house, the house that we're renovating. And he's like, hey, your sprinklers have been on a while. I was like, oh yeah, I reset them, so they should come on. And he sends me a picture and he's like, they've been on a long time. And our entire planter, we have this huge planter in the front yard, flooded, like water. And I'm like, what on earth has happened? So I get in my car, I go over there, and they're still on when I get over there. And I'm like, if water is flowing down our driveway. And I'm like, how on earth did this happen? So I go into the garage, I turn them off, and they don't turn off. They just keep going. So then I'm doing everything that I can to try and turn them off. I'm opening up things and, turning them off at different various points in the yard where I'm like, okay, I know there's a valve here. Let's turn it off. So then eventually I just go out to the water main on the street and I turn all of the water off to the house, which is fine for now. We can't let it go for too long. And they finally shut off. Well, so I'm going to investigate. Here's the comical. Going to investigate. And I step in a fire ant hill, and I have so many fire ant bites on my foot. It's like, what the heck? When it rains, it pours, my friend. When it rains, it pours. And at that point, like, my foot is on fire. Both feet. I've got one on one of my toes, and then my other foot is just covered in ant bites because I was wearing sandals. Silly me. And then I look up and we have a squirrel infestation in that house. They're digging in through our soffits, and they've killed the power on the back end of the house. Oh man. So again, when it rains, it pours. I'm not surprised. Here's my thought on this. Here's my philosophy on this. And I'm sure you guys, you've experienced this when something happens and it's just a series of comical events that you're just like, man, I want to punch something, but all I can do is laugh because it's just like, pile it on, just beat me down. Like, I can take this. Let's go. So here's my thought process. Before anything incredible happens in your life, there's generally a storm that comes first. And that storm is to test you. It's to test your worthiness for the goodness that is about to arrive. And I didn't realize this until about 15 years ago. I used to get so anxious about every little transition that happened in life, every complication that came into life, everything that ruined my expectation of something happening. It would make me so anxious and like almost to the point where I would be consumed with worry and fear that a negative outcome was gonna happen. But what I realized is that if I acted in fear, it would bring more disappointment. It would bring harder storm. If I acted in faith, then ultimately I would see an outcome that was desired. So my strategy for dealing with this is to laugh about it, understand it for what it is. It is absolutely a test to get to that next level. I've got some notes here. Pain is inevitable. How we react to the pain is what matters most. Pain is part of life. You cannot go through life avoiding all pain. It will never happen. You can try to numb yourself to pain, but look at what happens to the people who numb themselves to pain. They become addicted to things that are false stimulants, things that they think are making them feel better, but ultimately just creating addiction. So my advice is don't react when you're going through that. Sit in it. Sit in the pain. And that sounds kind of weird. I don't mean like enjoy it. You don't have to enjoy it. I just mean sit in it. Like this is God's gift to us, right? I firmly believe we're not here on this planet to just have a merry old time every second of every day. What would be the point of that? How would we learn? Pain is how we learn. And so appreciate it for what it is. Pain gives us an opportunity to stretch and grow. Sit in the pain. Be grateful for it. Have gratitude that you're getting an opportunity to grow. That is invaluable. Invaluable. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel it and respect it for what it is and also be grateful for it. There are hard lessons to be learned. The more pain, sometimes the more pain we go through, the better the outcome. I mean, I can't think of, pain that is harder than losing a loved one, right? You lose a loved one and you're going through some stuff and it creates trauma, but it gives you a completely different outlook on life. It gives you a completely different perspective on what is important. One of the hardest things we have to go through, but on the other side, when you come out of it, you respect life. You look at life differently. You respect life differently. And that is an invaluable lesson. That brings us closer to enlightenment, right? Going through hard, difficult situations. Another thing that I try to do is I ask myself in the middle of it, what did I do that created this circumstance? You can trace back, like all of the causes of your pain, you can trace back to decisions. Almost all. I would say like if you're driving on the driveway or driving on the freeway and you get in a car accident, it's kind of hard to trace back what caused that. Now, if you were the cause of that accident, it's very easy to trace back. What were you doing? Probably texting. Don't text and drive, folks. Don't get into road rage incidents. Ask yourself, what did you do that caused this circumstance to happen? You could trace it back to something. This is how you get through pain with a lesson really, really fast. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you look back and you say, okay, I'm tracing it here, now you have this really cool ability to reprogram yourself so that way you don't go through that again. You learn from your mistakes. Pain's also one of the most incredible teachers that you will ever have. Because as soon as you go through something difficult, you really do whatever you need to that's possible to not have to go through that again. So some of the pain that I'm experiencing right now, some of it is caused by me. Some of it's caused by ants. That is a decision. It was funny. As soon as I stepped in that, I was like, why didn't I wear shoes? I will never not wear shoes again when I'm walking through my planter beds because those freaking ants. The water, the sprinklers on my house, we don't live there. I don't go there every single day. I go there. Somebody goes there every single day. But we don't. We're not staying in that house right now, and we're not living in that house full time. That's a decision. This house, the walls, the storm in the walls. Yeah, I don't know what I could have done differently there. That was kind of an act of God. I'm just thinking, Boy Scout motto, be prepared. I was a Boy Scout. I got kicked out of Boy Scouts, but that's something I remembered. I remembered that. And I also remembered there's this one kid who he told me some crazy stories. We won't get into that right now. Like he was telling us about some dreams that he had, and we were all around the campfire, and we were all freaked out for like months. Wild digression, you guys. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. All I want you guys to know is, as you're growing, you're going to experience pain. How you react to pain, how you deal with it, will determine your outcome. If you react negatively emotionally, you're most likely going to make things worse for yourself. If you can sit in it and think clearly, clear mind and logically, then you're going to allow opportunity and problem solving, the flow to go through your brain, as opposed to being like clinched and have your brain shut off to any inspiration. So think positive, have faith, be open to inspiration if you're going through stuff, and you guys are going to make it through the other side, and it's going to be 10 times better. I promise you. All right, everybody, have a fantastic evening. I'm out. See you tomorrow. Bye. Where's the stop button? There it is.